So you were there kind of in the wintertime then?
Yeah, it was in wintertime.
I remember, if I remember, you said you were like January, February time frame when you were in combat? Yeah. Where did you do your basic training? Where did you do your basic training before you went over?
Where I trained?
Yeah.
Texas. Fort Hood.
Fort Hood?
Camp Hood, Texas then, or Fort Hood,
Camp
Texas.
Hood.
They've changed it, but there in South Carolina, I was there for just a short period of time before we went overseas.
Is that where you got on the troop ship, South Carolina?
Yeah, I was at a camp in South Carolina, but I don't remember it now. I don't remember the name of it, but then we went to Camp Patrick Henry, I believe. That's when you left to go overseas, when we went there. And I was there probably a week or 10 days before we shipped out.
So when you got to Italy, did you land in Rome, or where did you guys land? Do you remember?
Naples.
Naples.
Naples. And it was pitiful. They had, I think part of the Italian Navy was blown up there. And bad ships wrecked all over the place.
Yeah.
Naples was tore up pretty bad, but when we got away from there and went north, or went, I guess, west to Pisa.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't tore up too bad.
Did you get to see the Leaning Tower when you were there?
No, but I could have, and I saw it. I was close from here to the road out there.
So you saw it, yeah.
I didn't feel like going up in that thing and leaning over, you know. But yeah, I saw it and could have gone up in it. The first battle, I was scared to death. 18-year-olds don't have any business being in combat.
No.
And that was the worst time I had, and I don't know why I'm here now. But after I got through that, I had a time getting through that bad. But after that, it wasn't too bad. I finally got used to the shells falling around us, you know. That didn't bother me too much anymore. And I never had a bad time after that. But anyhow, I don't know who told us, but there's an officer, I guess an officer there, a non-commissioned officer, said, I want y'all to line up here and start walking down the road, the Blacktop Road. So there were 4 of them, and I was the 5th one back. Going into the Po Valley. My buddy from Canalo was one of the 4 that was in front, and I was the 5th one back, and then the tanks were right behind me. The first 2 or 3 shots as far as got my buddy. I didn't know for about a week, well, a little longer than that he was killed. If I went into the ditch to the right, you know, they'd always told you try to take cover if you can. You know, you wasn't going to stand up in the middle of a blacktop road and let them shoot you if you had to, you know. But they like to got me. I could hear them bullets going over my head when I got down in that ditch and got behind the rock. By that time, it was all over with because them tanks had done took care of all of it. But the German prisoners were coming in. You know, they were coming in from down the road about 100 yards, and they began to bunch up there, and I said to this one guy, I knew him, but I didn't know him real well. I said, look, we're going to have to do something with these prisoners. I said, they'll be shooting at us again if we don't do something with them, you know, because the rest of them had already gone. He said, yeah. I said, we sure have. So I told them, their motion for the prisoners to line up, 4 columns. So we took them back. I walked in front of them, and he walked behind them. We took them back to the camp, you know. And we met another company. And I don't remember now if it was an officer or an uncommissioned officer that was leading that company. But anyhow, he stopped the company when they got close to us. And I stopped the prisoners. And he said, you mind if we go through and get some souvenirs? I said, no. I said, help yourself. So when they got through, he brought me a pocket watch key wound. I goofed that off. I wanted a wristwatch, and if I had a time, I mean, I've kicked myself in the tail I don't know how many times for not bringing that watch on, because no telling what that'd be worth now, you know. Boy, it was a fine watch. And we got down to the camp, and of course we could tell what it was, and I headed in there, and they followed me in there, and I stopped them, and the major came out. And he said, spoke to us real nice, and he said, we'll take, me and my men will take over the prisoners now. And I said, okay. And said, you two wait over there. I said, I'll be with you in a few minutes. So we went over there and stood where he told us to wait. So after a bit, he come back and he told us, no, we told him that we was going to head back catch up with their company. Oh, no, I said, you guys ain't going nowhere till in the morning. He said, we're going to have you a good hot meal here in a few minutes. But I could find out exactly how many. We had probably 75 or close to 75. He was real nice. We finally caught back up with the company in about a week, or maybe 10 days. But
you were in first, what company were you in again? You were in the 1st Mountaineers?
I was in Company B, 85th Mountain Infantry. There was 85th and 86th and 87th regiments in the 10th Mountain Division, and I was in the Company B, 85th.
Yeah. Tell me the story about when you got a chance to go in there where they had all the weapons stacked, all the German stuff.
That was after we got back to the company, and we hadn't been back to the company but just 2 or 3 days, and they picked about a dozen of us to go north where the Germans were turning in this stuff. Well, it's just lucky that this guy who took when they take the prisoners back, they picked him too. So we went up there, and we didn't get assigned to the same job there. I was assigned to this place where the guns were, me and another guy. And this lieutenant, he said, took us there to the place. He said, you guys will be on guard here. Said, now you won't be just standing guard still. Said, this place is pretty big out here. And said, you walk around, but just don't let anybody get in that building. But he said, you all get any and all of the guns that you want, or anything else in there, but do it before such and such time, because they're going to be turned into ordnance. So I went in there and went through them guns. I didn't know nothing about guns. Now I knew a Luger when I seen it, and that was it. So I picked me out a real nice Luger, almost a new one, with the holster and the loading thing and all that. And of course it got sold, when I got home. But if I should do over, I'd have loaded myself down. I'd have thrown away some of the stuff I had, and I'd loaded myself down. If I had a field jacket that opened up all the way around, and I could have loaded up on them, and I would have. But anyhow, I wasn't going to be hoggish. I just going to get one and take it and bring it home.
How big a room would you say that was?
What?
How big an area would you say that was where all those guns were?
How big a room?
How big a room?
How big a room was that?
Yeah.
That room was bigger than this room, and it was about, I'd say, 3 foot deep in guns. There must have been thousands and thousands of guns in there.
Yeah.
Probably could have found me a nice one of those short machine guns.
Yeah.
If I'd have looked around a little bit, but like I said, I didn't know anything about guns like I do now. I'd have got some more of them. But anyhow, I was happy with that. And when we got ready, a day or two before we got ready to go back to the company, well, we just had lunch, rations, ration lunch. And we was all together in the room. And the lieutenant knocked on the door, and he came in. He said, I'm looking for two volunteers. And said, now this is not bad. Said, I know you don't like to volunteer for nothing, but this is not bad. I said, I'll go. And the guy there beside him, he said, I'll go. He said, well, I'll tell you what I want you to do. I want you to ride with 2 Germans, the captain and the driver, to their headquarters. And the headquarters at Brenner Pass. I don't know. We wasn't. It's hard to figure out just how far we were. We might have been 75 miles away, and we might not have been but 30 miles away from it. But anyhow, we crawled up in the back of that big black Mercedes, and it was, I believe it was a 700. No, I got it wrong. I think it was a 770, but it wasn't a 770K. But anyhow, we got in the back seat, and he told us that you wear your helmets and hold your rifle between your legs to keep the Italians from killing the two Germans. Well, the captain, he was real nice. He could speak a little English. So here we go. And we got to where we was going. We couldn't see very far. And right in front of us, there was a little rise. We couldn't see over that. The Germans, they went north, and we couldn't see them very long till they went over the hill. All we could see was on the right side, there was a German barracks there, and German soldiers all over the place. They was out there in the underwear, you know, laying around, and they had their laundry on the line, all that stuff, which we never bothered them. We never went in, never went out and talked to them. We stayed with that car. And after, I think we was there about 3 or 4 hours, and finally, the guy, when he told me, he said, "Man, I'm getting scared." He said, "I'm afraid." I said, "Oh," I said, "don't worry about it. They wouldn't send us on something if it's dangerous, you know." So after a bit, here comes the captain and the driver back. We got back in the car, and we drove about as far as here at the water plant, and there was all kind of soldiers.
Your guys.
At the Brenner Pass.
Yeah.
See? So he felt a lot better, I'm sure. That didn't make me feel any better, because I knew that they wouldn't have sent us. There's a lot of danger in it.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we came back, and we didn't get too far back till we met a high-ranking German, had all that fancy cross and stuff on him. Well, the captain jumped up, you know, and saluted him, and they talked about, I guess, maybe 10 minutes. We just sat still in the back of that car. And after a bit, well, we headed back to the company.
And did you stay in Italy until the very end of the war? Were you in Italy at the end of the war?
That was at the end.
Yeah, that was at the end.
After,
So, how long were you there?
After the end of it.
How long were you there after the war was over? Before you got to come home?
Well, it was over May, I believe,
yeah.
And I don't think I got to come home until about August, July, August, because it was hot weather when I got
Yeah,
home.
so you were over there until
Well, they
later.
Sent us home. They were going to send us to Japan.
Yeah.
And they dropped the bomb
Right.
over there, you know, and a lot of people, man, I tell you, that bomb there should have never been dropped. But a guy that's been in combat won't tell you that.
Right.
And anybody that's in good combat for about 10 minutes, he's going to want the whole business blowed up, you know. He's not going to regret anything. And Truman, I praise Truman for what he did. Truman did not make that decision by himself.
No.
He talked to the generals and the government people and all the high places, and they said go. And Truman said go.
Yeah.
Ended the war, saved at least a million lives.
Yeah.